And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Whew, I apologize for that short break, but I hope you enjoyed that Broodwell OST as we have returned with our quarterfinals, with the second round here of our tournament of Sparkling Tuna Cup number 57. We have our TvZ feeders are done, and we're jumping into game number 1. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Post Youth, we have our Red Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes, the best Terran in the entire bracket. The Terran representative for this week, it is Nicoract. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the Blue Zerg player from land of Belarus, also representing the Platinum Heroes, it is Nikch. Something is a bit weird. Hold on. Why is the intro not working? What if I do this again? Weird. So we'll try to get that fixed throughout the course of the broadcast. For now, we're going to be settling in. I do apologize, but for some reason our intro is not working. However, we will try to get on that. For now, though, we're settling into our ZVT videos are done, and we're gonna be loading into post-youth of all maps. Interesting. Also, predictions. Of course, predictions are open. I think they've closed by now, but predictions, they are open at some point, and you can place your bets on who you think will advance on to the semifinals, whether it's Nikch or Nicoract. Best of luck in the chat with your predictions. Best of luck. As we are settling in. Actually, I'll try to... Okay, I'll try to... Yeah, we'll try to fix things up. There we go. Beautiful. Here we go. Okay, so, sorry, I was a little distracted. I was a little bit distracted, but now we can settle in. And for now, it is going to be a Hatchet Gas Pool. Hatchet Gas Pool standard opener here out of Nikch, of course, going for the hybrid base. This is one of the big features of this map. This is why Post Youth is very commonly vetoed, is because of the free gold minerals that you get in not just your natural, but also a gold base in the center of the map as a third or even a fourth. So a lot of gold to be taken here on Post Youth, and Nicoract has no fear. Nicoract does embrace this map, did not opt to veto. And behind this, opening up 1-1-1. Racks into factory into that starport. Are going to be settling in. Likewise across the map, Reaper does also tip in towards the main base, but we are in position. We do deflect the initial Reaper play, and Nicoract opening up 1-1-1 is pretty aggressive, actually. Usually we would see a 3cc by now. But no, we're doubling down, and this could be the beginnings of something like a Hellbat push. We're going for the add-on sub, opening up Banshee. Hellions are amassing as well as we speak, and we'll keep an eye on whether or not we embrace something crazy like Concussive Shell Marauders, an Armory, or any other sign of more aggression. As Hellions do get across the map. They do move out, they do thresh and a dive. Banshee production back at home has commenced alongside Cloak. Do you see Nicoract just looking for another way in? Meanwhile, Nikch does respond with a Roach Warren. Okay, not too bad. Very safe play here out of Nikch, embracing the Roaches. Is going to keep him safe and sound against something like Hellion Aggression. Meanwhile, further back in the main base, the Overlord is coming in for a scout, coming in from behind. At the same time, the Hellions, they dive in. They go for the dive. Lings are lying in wait. We do lock down the army. Just barely. Whew. Yeah, the bait was real, and we do punish Nicoract. Nikch, Nicoract, Nico. We do punish a Terran player as we only lose 3 drones for 4 Hellions. Meanwhile, behind this, interesting, we do not continue Hellion production. Intriguing. I'm very intrigued here with this kind of build of choice, as we are prioritizing Stim and, of course, Cloak. There we go, 3rd CC on location, a late 3rd base. We'll see if it pays off. We'll see if it does pay off. Banshee does get across the map. Slipping in towards that natural, getting 2 drone kills, 3 drone kills so far. Not bad. 3 getting 4 drone kills. This Banshee, oh, does manage to slip away. Not a bad start. Banshee does survive, and we do have a second Banshee moving out as well. Third base being taken, settling into 2 more Raxes. We do have a 3-1-1 setup, a double E base. We're going to be embracing bio, not mech, thankfully. I'm embracing that bio. And we'll see if Nicoract can get even more damage done with these Banshees. Now, these Banshees, the reason why they have to get drone kills is because of the delayed third. We delayed the third base intentionally so for these Banshees. And we're going for the Queens. Okay, layer is not done. We have no mobile detection. We do not get the Queen before Transfuse. And we may not quite get a Queen, but we do clear up quite a lot of creep. Creep is being shut down. Army rotating over. Army does rotate. And from here, at least Nicoract has cleared up some creep and killed 4 workers, but still not ideal, still not enough. Nikch is still honestly sitting back quite nicely, getting into his own 3-base setup, droning, getting a 4th, spreading more creep. Nikch is looking quite solid here. And the pressure is on at Nicoract. As we throw down additional Raxes. That's going to be a 7 Rax setup here for Nicoract. And do we double down and just throw down an 8th Rax? We may opt to do so. No additional gases yet. This looks like the setup here for something like a 3-base all-in from the side of the Terran. See if we get there. Meanwhile, Banshee still being active, clearing up and denying so much of this creep. And bearing in mind, because all this creep is being denied, because we can barely spread creep towards the halfway mark, that means that the eventual push is going to hit that much harder. It's going to hit like a truck. We're building up more bio, building up those tanks. Nicoract is getting ready. He's setting up for this. Never lucky. Tomato buff. Este Eva. Shaking my head. Here we go. Nicoract is moving out with this double drop. Keeping his tanks back at home. Banshees as well. Nicoract will catch some tumors. At the same time, Nikch getting ready for a surround. The Queens are exposed. The Queens will survive. We force the pick up. We force back the army. Nikch does hold. And behind this, Nikch, he did take the gold base, but he hasn't saturated. No, he's moving out with his own Roach Ravager. Moving out, but does pull back. He's droning. He's droning up, taking more upgrades. Nikch is calming down. Just securing himself, and now he does saturate the gold. Meanwhile, Nicoract is still building up, and I do not see a 4th CC. No 4th CC. We have 7 Raxes behind this. No gases, no second factory, no 4th CC. Nicoract just doubling down and focusing on his army. We'll see if he can break Nikch. For now, just poking in. Getting ready for his move out, and there's the Unsiege! We're committed! Yeah, very committed play here out of Nicoract. Essentially 3-base all-in. 3-base all-in from our Red Terran player. It's all or nothing. Roach Ravager does engage. Going to try and slow down the army. Force a siege. Roaches are coming from behind. They catch the first tank. They get 1. They're going to get 2. They're going to get all 3. Just barely all 3 tanks are going to be targeted. Very nice flank here from Nikch, and he's just pulling this apart. Shutting this out. Babies come in. We force the pick up. We do force the pick up. Banshee's going to be folding as well to the Queens, and Nikch, he holds. He completely shuts this down, and Nikch can just keep on pushing. The 1 tank, though, does hold the line. Nicoract holds on, but again, Nikch, that was just the ideal engagement here. Coming in from multiple angles. Catching the tanks. Behind this, Nikch taking another base, getting up to 4 base saturation. Joining up even further, getting up to 80 workers. And now Nicoract throws down the base. Now he throws down the 4 CC. But this is after the failed push. This is an afterthought. Now we get the armory on the way. 2-2 is heavily delayed. The reason for this, we never intended for the game to go on this long. We were committed. We were very committed on 3 bases. And now we're struggling to get into a longer game. Are struggling. Drop players coming in, going for the base, force a cancel, not bad. We cancel the hatchery, catch an overlord. Nicoract picking up once again. But we are in position in the main. Nikch is keeping up. Fifth base getting saturated. Nicoract moving out with the second push, but this time with that many less tanks. Only 2 tanks this time. Nicoract does consult his forces. Nikch is maxed out. He's maxed out with Lingbane Roach Ravager. He is maxed. There we go, we do collapse in. And the tanks are once again going to be going down, but the concave is solid. Yeah, Nicoract with a much better fight. Nikch overextending. Once again pushing forward, bleeding out a lot of his Lingbane. And Nikch does have to calm things down. Nikch may be maxed out, but he does not have the ideal army. He's got so much supply tied up in Roach Ravager. So much inefficient supply. Nicoract is holding his own. Gold base is being taken. Bold move here out of Nicoract. Takes the gold, moves out. Hits the 6th base. And just goes for the drop into the main. There are some spores in position. Thankfully, that will delay the drop. And does the turret in the end. More spores being thrown down. Let's go. As Nikch does get eyes on the drop. But now just getting into 3-3. We're working towards ultras as well. We have kind of splitting on the way. And we do collapse into the planetary. We tried to. We only get 4 SCVs. That was not a worthwhile trade here for Nikch. Now we get infestors trickling in. But there's just not enough here for the Zerg. Nicoract, he is recovering. Not easy, but he has established a base. He's now maxed out himself. Hasn't been able to fully mine his 4th, but we're getting there. Same time, Queen gonna be going down. Oh, we're too fun with the Metamax! The miles! Oh, massive connections! We piled down 3 of those Metamax! Massive pickoff here for Nikch at the same time. Nicoract going for the dive, going straight for the mineral line, going for the gold, but the tanks are exposed. Yeah, both tanks go down. Nice choke win here for Nicoract. But he has to get the hell out of here. He cannot maintain himself. Gets 12 worker kills. Not bad. But again, still not enough. The final Banshee does fall. There was a Liberator wreaking havoc. 12 worker kills is good. But that costs us the entire army. Or most of the army, I should say. And Nikch getting ready to pounce on that planetary. At the same time, Nicoract going for the fringe base. Going for the 5th. 5th base does go down. We get the hatchery at the same time. Nikch, do we commit? We do. We do commit in. Collapse on the tank. Bailey's rolling forward, going for the mineral line. Not many SCVs. And that should be a kill on the planetary, just barely. Planetary goes down. We trade a base for a base. And Nikch, he deals with the aggressing army. And Nikch does save most of his workers. I say that, bleeds out a lot of Roach Ravager. Nicoract moving forward. Back at home, ultras are amassing. Nicoract pushing towards the now fresh mining base here of Nikch. It's getting low. It's getting quite low here. Yeah, more tanks on the way. I believe Vipers have arrived. Yeah, we have 1 Viper. Hatchery barely survives, just barely, but it should go down. Oof. Still 1 shot away from falling. Nikch does commit. Yeah, this time we have kind of splitting. We collapse on top of the tanks. All 3 tanks going to be going down. The ultras, they do hold their own. Not much tankier with those upgrades. It's 1 ultra falls. And GG gets caught. Nicoract, he runs out of steam. He was completely all in. No backup 4th base. And Nikch takes game number 1. Whew. GG. Oh my god. Nikch does take the first game, but that was a very, very intense game there. Nicoract was so committed. Remember, earlier he went for a 3-base all-in. Then he was barely able to stabilize on 4 bases and max out, but he was never able to fully mine from that 4th base. He was never able to saturate the gold and mine freely, so he could not sustain himself. Once it went down, that was it. You know, he had no more longevity in that game. Nikch did outscale Nicoract just barely. Just barely. And with that, Nikch does take a lead. And we're jumping into game number 2. Número 2. Here we go. As we are getting into our next game. Getting into game 2 on Oceanborn. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner. In the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the red Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes. Down in the series, looking to bounce back and force the ace match. It is Nicoract. Now the intros are working. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Zerg player from the land of Belarus representing the Platinum Heroes as well. As this is a team kill, it is Nikch. We go. We are settling in, and again we had a very aggressive game previously by Nicoract, and he was gaining ground, yes, but he just had some rough engagements. If you remember, we saw Nikch just collapse on the first push from behind, breaking the tanks and of course breaking the main army. And after that first failed push, it was an uphill battle for Nicoract, as he had put himself in that situation, put himself in that all-in. And now we settle down in game 2 with 2-Rax Reaper. 2-Rax Reaper. We saw a lot of this earlier today in Cheesadelphia. Dolan was all over this opener and all over this build, but Dolan time and time again would go 2-Rax Reaper into a 4-Rax follow-up. I don't expect that this time. I expect 2-Rax Reaper into something like a 3cc 2-on-1 into an economic follow-up. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The purpose of this opener is to deny the third. Deny the third base, threaten the economy, and contain the Zerg player, and get ahead in that economy as well. That is the goal. There is a threat, of course, of a third Rax for 3-Rax Reaper. That is true. We could throw down a third Rax as well, but as we can see, that's not quite happening, and that is not the case. Not in this series, not in this game. Not in this game, as Night Phoenix redeems a second replay. Hold on. Oi. When are you playing in STC? Este Night Phoenix. Shaking my head. As the first wave of Reapers are on the way. Our first, second, and third. It should only be 3 Reapers. So do get across the map. Reaper going to be dancing with the initial army. Link slipping in. And it looks like we have been able to sneak out that base. But alas, with 3 Reapers, the goal is to deny the third and force a cancel. Can we pull it off? It's going to be close. Third base taking a lot of hits. Lings and Queens getting ready to dive in. Hatchery's getting low. We should be seeing a third Reaper momentarily. There we go. We're up to 3 Reapers. We have the KDA charges as well. And it is going to be close. Queens are waddling forward. The base is getting low. But it looks like we will save it. Yeah, the third base will stand strong. Reapers are forced back, and so far so good here for Nikch, but a 4th Reaper has arrived, and a 5th on the way. 5th Reaper is on the way. Shaving of Lings, going for the Queens. Up. Nice control so far. Nicoract does pull away. Does pull back. Oh my god, the Queens are getting so low. And now we're up to 5 Reapers. Now again, if a Zerg player did try to sneak out the third base, we can get up to 5 Reapers, and then we transition into a Tech Lab and the Reactor. We're working towards our Bio-Sim timing. Reaper still going for the base. The base is getting very low, but it looks like it will complete. Link Speed kicks in. Link Speed kicks in, and the Reapers are being pinned back. They're trapped. There's no way out of this. There's no way out. And we don't get the hatchery. We don't get the kill. A big loss here for Nicoract. All the Reapers go down, and we did force out Lings, but the hatchery stands strong. Nikch, he saves the base, and with that, Nicoract, he lost all map control back at home. He's working towards a 3rd CC. We spoke about this earlier. It is a 3cc 2-on-1, an economic follow-up, but Nicoract was hoping for more damage. He was hoping for more damage, especially with 5 Reapers. A bigger commitment from the Terran. And it barely wasn't enough. I mean, the hatchery got close. It got very low. But did not fall. And now Nicoract, he's pulling back, getting into his starport. Basically, the next wave of aggression for Nicoract is going to be his 2-on-1. His sim timing. Stim is almost halfway done. When Stim finishes, we should have 2 medevacs, and we can move out with some drop play and threaten the bases of Nikch. Deny creep, hunt down overlords, maybe threaten the queens. There's potential for damage. Potential. As there is that add-on swap. Going for those medevacs. At the same time, third CC being taken. Nicoract trying to catch up in the economy. Is attempting. Meanwhile, across the map, Nikch playing it out safely here. I say safely, quite greedily. We have a safety Baneling Nest, but we're going straight into double Evo Chamber before the lair. So Nikch is prioritizing upgrades here, getting into 1-1 first, followed by Baneling Speed with that lair timing. Go. The Bio Army does move out. Nicoract being active on the map. Again, Stim kicks in, and we're going to be able to clear up some creep at least. Be able to deny some creep, threaten the queens. But we cannot engage with the main army, as Nicoract does have to back off. If Nikch overextends, we can maybe catch a queen or two. Possible. You can see Nikch rotating over towards the right-hand side, as he does expand take a fourth. Nicoract sharking around, catching some lings. Oh, going for the queens. And doesn't quite get them. Clutch transfuse out of Nikch does maintain his queens, does keep them alive. So far, Nicoract only finding creep tumors. As he does rotate around. Does rotate, trying to sneak up on the fourth hatchery. Going for the Stim, going for the dive. Ling Base out of position. Yeah, nicely done here. Looks like we will force a cancel. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be so close, and that's a kill. Ooh, that's a kill, not a cancel. 300 minerals down the drain. That is the ideal situation, the ideal scenario for Nicoract. Not a cancel, but a kill. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, massive pick off here. The hatchery does go down. And suddenly, Nicoract, he's back in this. We're good. Despite the earlier kind of loss that we had in the big investments, Nicoract, now we're back in this. We're building up our tanks, settling on 3 bases. More Raxes on the way. You can see Nikch getting ready for his own Link Bane run by. Meanwhile, the drops are still active. And we're coming back in. Aliens do catch the break. Oh my god. Whew. Quick reaction out of Nicoract. He does pull away. Just in time. At the same time, double drop into the main, but queens are in position. Medevac's getting low. But Nicoract does get away. Does manage to escape. Ooh. Trading well with the Link Bane. Meanwhile, that is a Hive. Oh my god, we are rushing into Hive tech here. Nikch will have fast Vipers, fast Adrenal. We could even try to rush into Ultras, which I wouldn't recommend. We don't really have the economy to fully sustain that. But upgrades we can. As once again, we stick in! No! He's not looking! Yeah, Nicoract a little bit distracted, focusing elsewhere. Massive Baneling connections. Shut down the northern drop. As Nicoract, his attention was elsewhere. Now Nikch going to be spreading creep, establishing another base, getting a 5th. 5th hatchery on the way, as Nicoract is not throwing down a 4th CC. How many Raxes? 8. It's going to be an 8 Rax here from Nicoract. I mean, I say that we did take extra gases, and we did go for a second factory, so an interesting variation of 8 Rax, where it's a little bit more tech-heavy. But regardless, Nicoract does not have a 4th. There's no 4th CC behind this. We are committed. Link Bane rolling in. We crash into the fire. The tanks are trying to hold on, but the Lings are slowly breaking through. We get one tank, but not the other. Whew. We hold the line, but what about the bio? As Nikch has to back off, falling back to the high ground. Massing up more Link Bane. Going for the tanks. No! The tanks! They're caught on siege. One tank going to be going down. We collapse on the Link Bane. Sorry, on the Marines. The tank does barely survive for only a couple of seconds longer. Tank does fall. Nikch still up against the wall, though. Has to back off. Amassing Morling Bane. Ultra Caverns on the way. 3-3 on the horizon here. Getting into Vipers. Again, we don't really have the gas to sustain all of this, but we're getting there. No +2 melee. No Adrenal. We're just focusing on just purely Ling Bane. Yeah, we collapse on the tanks once again. There's just not enough support for them, not enough fire. I mean, I say that. Never mind. Only one tank falls. And Nicoract is gaining ground. I'm a little bit shocked by how poorly that fight went for Nikch. Barely did not have enough. And now suddenly Nikch, he's in trouble. He's forced to pull back. Nicoract still rallying across the map, getting a 4 CC. Now it's quite a late 4th base for Nicoract, but on the way nonetheless. Looks like he has recognized that he maybe cannot break Nikch. I think he still might. It's close. It is quite close here. There we go, +2 melee on the way. Kind of splitting as well. We're getting our first Ultra. We can't really afford much more than that, but okay. First Ultra's on the way. For now, Nicoract is going to be fended off. At the same time, Nicoract going for a split push, moving out on the right-hand side. Tanks are sieging. Nicoract encroaching upon the right-hand base. And Nikch, oh, we are in position. And we will force this back. The best trades against the Marauder, but we do get the kill. Tank siege up behind this. 4th base now being named on location. Is now on the way. Oh! Ooh, as Baileys do connect. Once again, Nicoract focusing on the right-hand side. Does lose his drop. And now we can focus on our main push. Do we have any Vipers? We have one. One Viper is ready. Ready for those blinding clouds. Or for the power bombs. And here we go. We dive in. 2 throw in the blinding clouds. The tanks are falling. Shut down the tanks at the same time. Split push toward the left-hand side. Gaining ground. Nicoract getting on top of the hatchery. It does go for the dive, but Nikch gets here just in time. Oh, it was so close. The hatchery was getting low. But Nikch does hold at the same time, though he's being pulled apart. It looks like Nicoract has too much momentum. Yeah, we just don't have the supply. Nicoract, he defends one location, but not the other. Hatchery goes down. Cannot keep up. The drops, they just keep coming, Pappy. They keep coming. We throw down a power bomb in a moment of desperation. Catching some reinforcements, not bad. Marauder's going to be going down. Still no Adrenal here. Oh wait, no, we have Adrenal, thank God. Still no +3, I should say. Do I at least have Adrenal? We're almost at Cracklings. Ooh, that's another kill in the hatchery. We're catching workers as well. 4 drones going down at the same time. We do clean up the drop towards the left with our power bombs and with our banelings. We do shut it down. Nikch, he's barely holding on. We're holding back. Meanwhile, Doom Drop making its way towards the bases. Nikch out of position. Uh-oh. Yeah, we're boosting in. We're boosting on forward at the same time. Nikch actually going for a counterattack. Going for the planetary. Doom Drop into the main. Push towards left-hand side. Oh, this hatchery is going to go down. Is this worth it? Sure, Nikch gets a planetary, but does it matter? It doesn't even matter. Nikch is racing back. He keeps pushing. At this point, we have to. We keep on pushing forward, going for the 3rd. Nicoract now forced to pull back home. Tank goes down, going for the mineral line. The SCVs are falling. And Nicoract doesn't really have much of an economy to begin with. Liberator doing what it can. Bailings, they crash into the Marauders of all things, and all the best trades. Ultras are falling. They can quite well here against the Ultras. Expensive losses for Nikch. Oof. As he loses almost every single Ultra, but he gets 44 SCVs at the same time across the map. We keep up with the drop play. Nicoract does reestablish a 4th. Remember that earlier CC was left alive. Did not go down. So Nicoract is barely holding on here with mules, with barely any SCVs. And Nikch does confirm the 4th base is back up and running. But the workaround still struggling here for Nicoract. Still struggling. Nikch relying so heavily here on these ultras. Do we have any Vipers left? We do. We have 2 Vipers. 2 Vipers, 1 Infestor. The army is coming together. Oh, thank God. Viper's getting low. Well, getting exposed. So you go for the power bombs. Once again, another split push here by Nicoract. Does have the supply advantage. And he's going for the kill. He's going straight for the natural. And waiting himself in between the natural and the 3rd base. Ultra's trying to dive in, but we're just zoned away. Yeah, it looks like it's just too much to handle. Let's take another kill on the hatchery. Natural goes down, and Nikch, he can barely do anything at this point. Can barely keep up. Some good bathing connections. That's all we really have left. Ling Main pushing forward. Nice fungal. Does connect. Will clean this up. For the most part. For the most part, cleans up the army. Job diving back in. Shows the power bombs. Up. We want them back. We at least get the 1 power bomb. Alas, Nicoract still maintaining himself. Still has this 4th base. Honestly, this 4th is paying so well here. Is doing so much for Nicoract. It was on Nikch, and we did allow it to survive. Did allow it to live earlier. Ultra Cavern gets sniped. Drop ensuring that there just is no economy. There is no mining here for Nikch. No efficient mining, at least. We're down to like half a base saturation. And Nikch is all in. At this point, Nikch is completely all in. We have a good amount of ultras, but back at home we have liberators. And what's the answer? How do we deal with them? We don't. We have libs, we have ghosts. GG gets called, and Nicoract ties up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. We are going all the way to game 3 here, and I believe the rest of the bracket is progressing up slowly. Slowly has been progressing. We'll be catching up with it later on. Oh, but we are going the distance here between this Zerg and Terran, between Nikch and Nicoract. One way or the other, the series is about to end. It's going to be either Nicoract or Nikch as it advances on. And we have our final map. We're going to be loading into Ghost River. Oh boy. Here we go. Ghost River, a very small map, very congested as well, known for its aggression, and we have seen a lot of aggressive plays so far to Nicoract. If you remember, Game 1, Nicoract went for a 7 racks, 3 base all-in. Here in Game 2, we went for an 8 racks. An 8 racks variation with 2 extra gases and a second factory. Just doubling down so hard, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see something similar here on Ghost River as well, where we just get up to 3 bases, we cut worker production, we deny it, or we avoid a 4th and just double down. That is definitely Nicoract's playstyle, at least so far. So far in this tournament. Here we go. Oh, este fiant. This just in, Fiant just woke up. I'm shaking my head. What time is it? What time is it in Sweden? Sweden time. It's noon. it's midday, papi. It's midday. God damn it, Fiant. God damn it. Shaking my head. Yeah. Gonna help us promote that Patreon. True. If you want to help support this tournament, I know we're in the middle of the series, but it was brought up in the chat. If you want to help support specifically this tournament series and Sparkling Tuna Cup, I mean, not just this tournament, but all of our tournaments, including Sea Duckling Open and Master Swan Open as well, you can do so via Patreon. You can see just down there underneath Nicoract's name. We do have a Patreon set up to help fund our events, to help fund our tournaments. So you can do so if you wish. Can do so. Again, that's to help grow the prize pool and pay out more players. Right now, our tournament is structured in a way where we only pay out top 2. We don't really have much of a prize pool to work with. I mean, I say that, not much to distribute amongst more players is maybe a better way of putting it. But if it grows, then we can pay out top 4 and maybe even more than that as well. So that's our current goal, current structure is to grow the prize pool to get to that point, to be able to spread the love and support more players. That's the hope, at least. That is the hope. But a big shout out to all the current patrons we do have out there, the current supporters that we have. Thank you. We do appreciate it. Does help us quite a lot here. We're able to, again, fund this tournament and host it on a weekly basis as a result. Thank you. And here's to going it even further, growing our event even more. For now, we're settling in. We are settling in, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Ghost River, we have our red Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Nicoract. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Zerg player from land of Belarus, representing the Platinum Heroes as well, as this is a team kill. It is Nikch. Let's go. I mean, it is the weekend. Sure. If there was ever a day to sleep in, it would be the weekend. But at the same time, you know, Tuna Cup. Come and play, Papi. Come and play. Estefiant. Shaking my head. As for the time being, we do have Nikch going for a hatch gas pool, standard opener for the time being, setting up for that natural base. Meanwhile, across the map, Nicoract going for his own Rax Expand setup. Nothing too crazy early on. I don't expect anything too crazy here in the early game. It's about the mid game where I'm focusing, where I'm paying attention here. It comes to the aggression of Nicoract, or even the aggression of Nikch. We'll see. We shall see. As we are loading into Ghost River, of course, we have quite a short rush distance by ground. Doesn't take long at all to get across the map. Likewise, not many bases and a very congested map itself. We've seen a lot of split map scenarios here on Ghost River. As a result, it is very easy to cut in half just because there are so many ramps and so many choke points on either half of the map. Here we go. We are going to be, for now, settling in. Going to be settling in. Reaper moving out. Reaper does move out across the map. And likewise, back at home, we're just getting into our Queen production. Lings are on the way. And Nikch should not be losing too much here. Shouldn't. So we do have a little bit of a dance between our units. Reaper does threaten the mineral line. Lings pulling back. Some of them getting low, but so far no big losses. You see Nikch even investing into a extra pair of Lings, going up to 6. Queen will zone this away, and back at home we have Nicoract embracing that third CC. As a third CC before Starport, very economic build here out of Nicoract. This is going to be quite economic. And Nicoract even picks off 2 Lings, not bad. 2 link kills and, 3 link kills even. Very nicely done. Doesn't sound like a lot, but I mean, that was basically a drone. Drone and a half, I guess. But nice pickoffs. Behind this, interesting. Do you see what I see? It was a third CC before Starport, but that is not a Starport. That is a second Rax. So it's going to be a 3 CC 2-1-1. Okay, you have my attention now. What does this mean? This means we're going to be staying on a very low amount of Hellions. It's going to be up to 4 Hellions. We usually don't go more than 4. And then we build up towards a Starport, Stim, and a Medevac timing. A Stim double Medevac timing here with 16 Marines. Until that point, Nikch is free to drone. yes, there are going to be 4 Hellions, but 4 Hellions can't really threaten too much. So this means that Nikch can be greedy, can drone up, take a 4th base, get up to 3 base saturation, and ideally cut as many corners as he can, at least until the drop play comes in. At least until we're active with our sim timing. As I say that, we have an extra wave of links on the way just to be safe. So Nikch playing safe, doesn't cut his link production. Hellions poking and prodding. Nikch has yet to confirm the build of choice. He has not gone into the main, but now will. The Overlord does reroute. Is headed for the main. Hellions rotating over. Trying to find a way in, but the Queens, they keep up. 2 managed to keep up. They're just spreading out 3 Queens on one side, 2 on the other. Overlord does confirm the additional Raxes. So we get a full scout of the main base. And we are aware our response. We're going for a safety Baneling Nest. Interesting. It's going to be a lair into Baneling Nest. Basically what's happening here is that we're prioritizing Baneling speed and we're delaying upgrades. We're delaying specifically our Evo chambers. Interesting choice. So just really safe play here out of Nikch. Does mean that he won't have as much of an upgrade advantage as he otherwise could have. As he's respecting this quite a bit. The other option here, especially because we are, for now, avoiding those Evo chambers, we could try to tech up a little bit harder as well. Okay, there we go. Now we have our 2 Evo chambers on the way. To our Evers. One Overlord goes down, we deny some creep. Not bad. Nicoract does rotate over towards the 3rd base. Again, he shouldn't be going for too much of a committed dive. As I say that, we just try to punish this. Popping up here from Nicoract does get away. Getting 1 Overlord, getting 5 Flings. Does preserve his army. Once again, we try to punish this. Bold move by Nikch. Not sure if that was worth it. That's 19 Lings for 3 Marines. Yeah, some questionable moves there by Nikch, bleeding out a lot of Lings. And that means we're that much more vulnerable. Nicoract going for the hatchery, doesn't apply pressure, getting it low. Hydrogen is on the way, just now finished. It's going to be Lingbane Hydra out of Nikch. Creep is looking okay, but again, he has been bleeding out a lot of Lings, and now here comes a secondary push. Here comes another double drop. And the goal here again, just clearing up so much of this creep. And we're just setting up, we're just laying up for the next wave. As I say that, that is a 4cc. Okay, for the first time this series, we're not like throwing down extra Raxes going up to 7 or 8 Raxes. No, not this time. We're getting up to a 4cc instead. Getting into a longer game. Which, not gonna lie, I kind of wish we did go for a 3-base all-in. Like, with so much creep being denied, with Nicoract honestly trading very well with these drops, we could have been quite successful. Or with an all-in, I mean. Well, as we do see Nikch bleeding out 6 drones. 6 workers going down. Nikch pulling back. He's getting into his own Hydra production for some anti-air to keep up with the drop play. 1-1 is done, 2-2 on the horizon. Should soon be starting up for Nicoract as well. Get back in. Oh! Likewise, Link counterattack across the back, getting 7 SCVs, not bad. Nikch finally going for his own aggression. Does catch 7 workers out. Does get 7 workers, forces Nicoract back. But remember, Nicoract, he's walling up. He's just walling up here his ramp, getting his line of tanks. Planetary's on the way. And Nicoract just building up towards a longer game. Likewise, so is Nikch. Still trying to stabilize. Take another expansion. Going for a 5th. Sneaking up on top of the Medivacs. And don't quite get it. Medivac does escape. Does barely get away. And the game is going to settle. The game is going to settle down. We even have a 5th cease. Oh my god. Nicoract. Who are you? Just a very different approach here. Just taking a more defensive stance. We have our Ghost Academy on the way as well for Ghost production. We're going to slowly max out. Taking up even further. Likewise, Nikch. It feels like he hasn't been able to keep pace too much here, as this hive feels a little bit later even compared to last game. But just now working towards the hive and working towards, I imagine, Lurker tech. Especially with +1 range on the way. We'll see if we embrace the Lunkers. Or if we go for Ultras instead. I mean, we would have seen a Lurker gen by now, and it still hasn't been thrown down. So I'm leaning more towards Ultras for the time being. We've been trying to roll in. Tanks are in position. We're going for the Spire instead. Okay. Going for the Spire. Can work towards Broodlord production. True. Meanwhile, double drop coming in. Getting 3 drones. Going for the base. The base getting low. Hatchery solo. Nice target firing here out of Nicoract. Does get a line of Banelings. Does catch a line of Banelings here. Still unable to break a base, but ooh, we catch the Medivacs. Massive pickoff. 2 full Medivacs. 2 Medivacs go down. Actually done here by Nicoract, still being active. Tanks are unsieged. Now would be the moment. Yeah, we collapse in. Nicoract getting caught out. 1 tank goes down. But not the other. We do respond in time. Do manage to pull away. At the same time, Nikch catching another tank. Ooh, but the Hydras are getting caught out, and is this worth it? Bailey's going to go for the mineral line. They crash in. And they do barely burrow in time. At the same time, we try to distract and Nicoract, and has he noticed? No scan. Yeah, no scan in the mineral line. He doesn't know. Main army gets forced back. And we're waiting for saturation. We're waiting to get this base up and running. And then we pop off. Yeah, he's an animal, papi. Behind this, we have a we have a Broodlord. We have a Greater Spire and an Ultra Cavern on the way. So, ¿por qué no los dos? Why not both? Meanwhile, ooh, some of these Banelings will detonate. I like the idea, because there are so many Banelings, we can detonate like a few at a time. Right? Like, first 2, then another 2, then another 2. And just keep it going. As Nikch does collapse in once again, catching more tanks. But does overextend as the concave is in favor of Nicoract. Meanwhile, once again, 7 more SCVs. And Nicoract now he scans. But last is nothing left to scan. 7 SCVs go down. Down to 65 workers. We collapse here on the center base. And with the help of the Banelings, we bring down the planetary. Planetary does full. Nikch pulling back, getting into his own ultra production. And Nikich's economy has been left untouched for quite some time, until now. Nicoract going in. Does threaten a dive, but the Overlord does give Nikch some forewarning. Do we have a Nidusworm? We do not. No Nidusworm here. Overseer getting some vision. I believe we had some drop lords. There we go. We have 5 drop lords being set up here at the natural. Not making use of them yet, but we can always try to go for a big drop. I say that. We have a line of turrets here at the natural base. Not going to be so easy to make use of those drop lords, but they're coming. There we go. A massive wave of lings. I think maybe 1 or 2 overlords are going to be shut down before they get into the natural, but they're on the way. Have we scattered that? Oh, we haven't. We don't know. Uh-oh. Nikch, he doesn't know what he's walking into. Forces back the drop. Center base being retaken. Doom drop making his way in. And how many overlords make it through? We bring down one. We bring down two. Oh, two full drop lords. Aye, aye, aye. But the others do unload. We got on top of the tanks. At the same time, the main army does not find a way through. But SCVs are going down. Nikch pulls back. And we can even focus on some of these turrets and make it that much easier to come back in. Yeah, we clean up the ring of turrets. 14 SCV kills. Ling's even borrow. Meanwhile, Nicoract still on a lower worker count, but he has mules. He has mules, has a center base. Nikch pulling back. Doesn't have the best upgrades to really work with Broodlords, but +1 flyer attack has completed. And there we go. 5 Broodlords on the way. Now, Broodlords can actually punish this position quite nicely using this cliff face. At the same time, we have Ghosts in position. We have to be very careful with these Broodlords. Gonna be a bit of a delicate dance. Poking in at this location. As Thors are on the way, Broodlords floating in. Nikch trying to distract the main army, but it's going to cost him an Ultra. Ultra does get picked off, but that does create an opening. Broodlords, they take down a turret, take down a sensor tower. Not much else. Going for the gas geyser. Again, we cannot just dive in. We have to take it slow. Take it slow here. It's going to be how many Broodlords? 10. 10 Broodlords for Nikch. Southern base has been taken. Festers have to be careful. Looking for a fungal. Changelings are waddling in. Providing some vision. Oh, we do land a fungal. Not bad. Cashes on the buyer. Does cost us an infestor. We have 1 fungal left. Tank is under threat. Oh, Snipe's gonna be going up. Oh my god, we barely do not get the Broodlords. Do graze them, and here we go. We pull the trigger. 1 Broodlord goes down, but the planetary falls. And that's all we needed. We get the base, we pull back, and we have Spore slowly encroaching upon the army, upon the bases of Nicoract. Means they do keep each other alive. Tank's gonna be going down now. We can collapse in. Do roll forward. We have control of the high ground. And from here, Nikch can try to hit towards bottom left. Can try to work towards it. The turret. Sensor tower goes down. Snipe's going up. Ooh, we do catch 2 broods. But the fungal! Oh my god, massive fungal. The chain fungal as well. Bailings roll in. Ghosts are going down. Not a bad trade, but oh, the line of tanks, they hold on. Yeah, the tanks do hold. But last, Nikch, with his economy, with his superior worker count, he's remaxing. Nikch is rebuilding, remaxing, gaining more ground. Another hatchery on the way. We do overextend with the Broodlords. Oof. Big snipes going up. We catch 2 more broods as well. Slow on the transfuse. Nicoract is trading more efficiently, that's true. But Nikch has remax. We're pouncing in once again. Bailing's rolling forward. We shut down the first tank line. But the Thors are here. And the Thor Ghost is pushing forward. Wait for the snipe. Gets a final Broodlord. Fungal connects, but is there enough on the ground? We're trickling in with Ultras. And Ultras, they cannot keep pushing. They get shut down. The base falls. Nikch going to be remaxing with Ling Hydra. I do appreciate this, especially against a Thor-based army. It's going to be a little bit better here. More Broodlords on the way. I mean, ideally we would love to see some more Infestors and Neurals even. But Neural was researched, going for the Fungal. Second Fungal goes down. Ultras, they break through the Hellbats, but we cannot break through the Thors. Yeah, the Thors, they hold the line. They shut down the Ultras, they shut down the Corruptors. And Nikch bleeding off far too much here. Has to back up, has to retreat. And Nicoract, he's gonna just keep pushing. He gains more ground. And Nikch in a lot of trouble. He cannot fight. Not here, not right now. Bleeds up far too much. You can see the pendulum swing very quickly here in favor of Nicoract. Trading far more efficiently. Ultra's getting sniped once again. There's one Ultra left. There's 0. The Thors, they stand strong. Bailings roll in into Thors of all things. We take down 1 Thor. Yeah, and it looks like Nicoract has done it. He's broken the back of Nikch. Just unable to deal with this Thor tank ghost army. Just a little bit too beefy, a little bit too much to handle. Again, Ultras are not the answer. And the mass bailing either. And alas, Nicoract, he takes out 1 base. He's going for another. He's just not giving Nikch the time he needs. He catches the drones. No. 24 workers. 24 drones go down, and we're not going to stop. We're going to keep on pushing. And Nikch, he cannot keep up. Not anymore. We collapse in. We pull the boys in a moment of desperation. The Crocs is doing what they can, but they cannot shoot down, and we will clean this up. GG gets called. Nicoract will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Nicoract will take the series here, will advance on. My condolences to Nikch. He played well. He played this out quite nicely up until the moment where, oh, hold on. Up until the moments where Nikch took control of the lower base, of the base that was on the high ground, and took down the planetary and forced back the Terran, like that was a solid time for Nikch, but we saw that he really struggled to refine his army. He struggled to refine his army, especially against that more heavy base Thor army. Instead, he had a couple of Ultras, had a couple of Broodlords, had a couple of Hydras. It was a little bit of a mix match over Zerg composition, and yeah, they alas did kind of fall by the wayside and did crumble before the might of Nicoract. GG, well played. And with that, we have our next semi-finalists ready and waiting. But before we can dive into that, we're jumping into the semis. Jumping into the semi-finals, players have been lying in wait, patiently waiting for us to wrap up.